Welcome back to the Unbreakable Boundaries podcast with your host, myself, Jennifer Manili. In today's episode, we are doing another pocket guide. This is the pocket guide that is talking about what to expect when your loved one is actually in rehab. So we've gotten into rehab. They're on their way there, and now you don't even know what to expect. So something to be really mindful of is that they are incredibly scared and very emotional because they don't have drugs. They don't know how they're going to deal with life without drugs. And sometimes they either may want to be there or they may not want to be there. So we're going to start for this pocket guide with the mindset that they don't want to be there. And there are a few subtle differences. Now, this isn't like a full checklist. This isn't like, oh, if they have one of these things, then it's a done deal. They don't want to be there and all of that. It's more of looking at it as a collective whole than it is just saying, oh, look, they're missing this little thing over here. But it does give you kind of an idea of where they are in their mindset. One of the first things that I kind of look for is, did they originally ask for help? So did they come to you and say, hey, I really need some help? Or did they kind of get more backed into a corner where they felt like they didn't really have a whole lot of options left? And they were like, well, I guess this is the best option that you're giving me, so I'm going to take it. Now, again, that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't be successful. It just means that there is a little bit of a different mindset when you have someone that goes in that's like, I don't really know if I want to be here or not, or I don't really want help. I'm just doing this because I'm being told that I have to, or I won't get X, Y, and Z, right? I won't get a place to live. I won't get the car. I won't get financial support. I won't get all of these things. So is it one of those? When they go in there with that particular mindset, they're going to pick apart every single little thing that is wrong with that rehab, what they're doing, and trying to make a scene and make a problem for everyone, because they're like, I can't believe you sent me here. This is terrible. These people are just after your money. Like, you totally got scammed. They're not doing anything for me here. Like, what am I going to get here that I can't get somewhere else? They're going to say whatever they feel like they need to say in order to get out of there before their release. And by release, I mean their organic discharge to the next phase of recovery. They are probably going to try to bargain with you a lot. Listen, if you just let me come home, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'll go to all these meetings. I'll do whatever you tell me to. I can totally do it without being here. Why do I need to be here? Another tactic they're going to try, because they're going to go through several different tactics to try to get their way of not being there and convince you that they don't need to be there, that they're okay, they're going to do it on their own or whatever. Another tactic they might use is they're going to maybe spin that. Either they're going to start with anger, or they're going to spin that when the bargaining doesn't work, right? So they're going to maybe go to anger and start what I call like gaslighting, but really it's just, they're just kind of manipulating you, telling you you're such a POS, and say all sorts of really, really mean things to you. You're a terrible parent. I can't believe you're abandoning me. They're certainly going to play the you obviously don't love me, you never did, and then start throwing some things in the past that they may even know that you feel guilty about. Even if they know that the two aren't related, they're going to use it just because they know it gets under your skin, and just because they know that a lot of times that is what gets them to, or gets you to do what they want you to do. Now, this may all be within the first day, in the first week. This may be an ongoing thing that they do. So sometimes if they are in that phase, if this is the way that they are handling that, sometimes it's better just to really minimize the conversations so that they don't have an opportunity to get under your skin, right? They don't have that opportunity. They can focus on themselves. They will have to come to some sense of an acceptance. And we're not going to talk necessarily on this podcast about what that looks like afterwards, but I think you can probably take wild guesses how their transition period afterwards is going to go. Sometimes, though, if they are close enough to the home, if they are close enough to their safe environment or a environment that they are familiar with, they may just walk out of rehab. And that can be a challenge too, because rehabs are not prisons. This is not something that anyone can physically detain someone who is wanting to leave. Like, the staff is going to talk to them. The staff is going to try to convince them to stay. But at the end of the day, this is not a prison. They cannot physically restrain anybody and force them to stay, even though, a whole lot of money has been spent. This was supposed to be an enclosed environment and all that. It's still not a prison. This is one of the risks that is taken when, especially like a family member pays an exorbitant amount of money for rehab, is because if they leave early, you still don't really get your money back. There really is no guarantees that this is going to work. Now, at some point, though, they may get settled in and come to some sort of an acceptance that there is nothing that they can do to get out of there. So then they're going to really flip the script again and kind of start telling you a lot more of like what you want to hear, to let your guard down so that they can set themselves up in a good position for the discharge. Now, I'm going to be really clear and really honest and transparent with you on I really think that, in terms of helping your loved one, especially if you're a parent, I think that it's always good to kind of just let you make your own decisions with some guidance, which is why I do this, right? Like, this is more guidance, but there is something that I am very clear on, is that I don't believe that people should go back home with their parents and live with their parents. I don't think that that's the best idea for anybody. I don't think it's good for them, and I don't think it's good for you either as a parent, because the dynamics of that relationship are really, really challenging to do, and neither one of you, frankly, have the skills at this point in time to manage what it means to live with someone. So they can't help but be kids while they're living in their parents' house. It's just that dynamics, right? And you can't help but be a parent. But what we need them to do is grow up. Now, they are going to want to come back to your house, by and large. Some of them, maybe not. There are obviously some exceptions, but that's going to be like, they don't really, especially if they don't have anywhere to go, that's their easy answer. The easy answer is come back home, because they know that they're probably going to be able to get away with whatever. But then as soon as they cross the threshold, like, they are now your problem again. And it's a lot harder to get them out. And they're probably not going to do what they're supposed to be doing because they know that they can get away with it. And then you're going to have to be stuck in a parenting role again, and then probably watch them just keep going downhill. And then you're forced to have to face the really tough decision on, am I going to have to kick them out again, or for the first time, or whatever it is. Now, I think every parent thinks that they are the exception to these rules, right? I'm not making this up. I'm telling you what I've seen time and time and time and time again. It does not go well. Even if they stay clean, let's just hypothetically say that they stay clean, right? The dynamics don't allow that person to grow up until they are out of your house. So there are so many other options. The options, though, are not options that they necessarily want to take, but it doesn't matter, because it's in their best interest. Not what they want to do, because if, what they want to do is what got them here in the first place. So they don't necessarily get to drive this train. Allow them the opportunity to take another option. Now, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day about expectations, what to look for. Sober livings, different types of transitional houses. That's a whole nother podcast for a whole nother day, which I will do. But this is the mindset around what does it look like when someone doesn't want to be there, and what can you expect? The other thing is they are just going to absolutely trash that rehab if they don't want to be there. And rehabs, for HIPAA reasons and so many other reasons, they just cannot defend themselves. They cannot tell you what's going on. They cannot give you their side of the story. They can't talk to you. So all you're left is their side of the story. And their side of the story is coming from a place of they don't want to be there, and they're going to say and do anything. And if you go charge into that rehab and start believing that, they're the worst place in the world or whatever, then you are just also perpetuating their belief that they can get you to do what they want them to do. When they go into that rehab, no matter what they say, no matter how they feel, this is why I think minimizing communication while they're in there, it doesn't mean don't talk to them. I'm just saying minimize communication and realize what it is that they are trying to do and not feed into that. So while they're there, let them be. Anyway, if you are in the middle of this situation and you just want to talk a little bit more one-on-one about what you are experiencing and how you can handle it, because I just can't, without knowing the situation and context, I can't really address everything you're going to see, but it kind of gives you an idea of what you can expect when someone is kind of going in there kind of against their will, right? So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Please feel free to reach out to me. You can either email me at info@therecoveringfamily.org. You can go to my website at therecoveringfamily.org and actually just schedule a first-time call right there on my website. It's totally free. And it's just a way to kind of get in touch and see how I work, see if this is something you want to do ongoing, or if you just have a one-time situation. I'm always happy just to talk to people, right? I want people to feel like they have a sounding board to go to, and we can work out the details later. Of course, I do have ongoing services, and we can talk about those too. But it can also just be a one-off conversation. I'm happy to do either one of those. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope this was helpful. Please stay tuned. The next podcast is going to be, what does it look like when someone actually wants to be there, and the expectations of what you can expect from them, and what that journey in rehab is going to look like. And it's going to be a little bit different because they're going in with a little bit of a different mindset. So anyway, hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening.